Hey YouTube, this is KingCobraJFS with another video. So I was at work today when I noticed someone left one of those Baptist church pamphlets again. Now I was not happy about that, so when I saw it I picked it up and I tore it into a bunch of pieces and threw it away. People who come to do business with me and my coworkers at work do not want to be bombarded or harassed by bullshit like that. You know, they come in there with their families, sit down and relax, or their friends or whatever. The last thing they want is to be shoved in the face with someone else's belief. You know what I'm saying? You know, the situation will reverse, and you're the one cleaning that lobby, and you were if you were a Baptist church member and you were cleaning that lobby, situation reversed, and someone left a bunch of pamphlets out about Satan. Would you like that? Chances are you'd hate it. You'd be pissed about it, right? If that's the case, then don't do it to others, okay? And I understand you want people to come to your church. I totally get that, okay? But here's the thing. When you're shoving people's beliefs or faces in your beliefs like that, it's making them less likely to come to your church, you know what I'm saying? You're not even bothering to just sit down and talk with them. You're just going to leave the pamphlet wherever for someone to fucking find it, and chances are it'll get ignored, you know. But, you know, if the family that comes down to eat is actually, you know, Muslim or Buddhist, you know what I'm saying? And they gotta have someone else's belief shoved in their face. Now, the situation reversed, and you're the one, you know what I'm saying? Would you like it? And the answer is no, you wouldn't. So, yeah. In other news, according to the Rubin Report, it turns out this is a 70-year-old man, okay, he's 70 years old, may or may not be going to jail for growing marijuana. You heard right. And here's where it gets even better, okay? The guy lives in a state where it's legal, but it's still technically illegal on a federal level. So what do the feds do? They have some balls, man, busting out a 70-year-old man's front door just for like 70-plus plants for healing. That's ridiculous. I'll guarantee if it was one of these DEA members' grandparents or elderly persons in their family, they wouldn't do shit about it because that's just the system for you. So, I just got done sending emails to some state representatives about this subject matter and, you know, making my voice heard, trying to get this shit legalized in Wyoming like they did in Colorado, and making my voice heard. That's all I can do at this point. I've already called Matt Mead on the issue. I got his receptionist though, so basically called him and saying, hey, why don't you legalize weed like they did in Colorado to help the sick and help the economy? And that's basically what I said, okay? So, again, if he sees the email, he'll recognize the address and go, oh shit, this guy, he's persistent. I'm like, yeah, okay. I feel strongly on the issue because I have Asperger's syndrome, and being a poster child for prescription pills my entire life until trying marijuana for the first time a long time ago and going, I like this stuff a lot better. It gives me a creative edge and it makes me less depressed. Plain and simple, okay? But before that, you know, before they knew what Asperger's was, it was, well, what makes Josh tick? Let's try this pill for a couple of months and see how it works. Oh, that pill didn't work, let's try this one, you know. So basically I grew up a guinea pig for the pharmaceutical companies. They finally find out I have Asperger's after I'm like 12 or 13 years of age, and they finally find out that I have Asperger's, and they go, well, now we found out what's wrong with them, let's try this pill. And I didn't like the way the pills made me feel. I just did not like them one stinking bit, okay? Those pills, I guarantee you, won't give me the creative aspect of smoking a little bit of weed, you know what I'm saying? Somebody pass Shaggy the baggie so I can roll Scooby another doobie. Yeah. So other than the stupid Baptist bullshit pamphlet I received, I didn't receive it, I just encountered it while cleaning my lobby at work today. And I'm thinking for customers who come in to eat who aren't of that faith and probably don't want to sit down and have to deal with that minor inconvenience. And this isn't the first time this has happened. It's the same church harassing customers again. I'm about to the point where I don't care if I'm in uniform or not. If I see them placing it on the table, I'm going to pick it up right in front of them and tear it up into pieces and tell them that the customers don't want to deal with it, plain and simple. Because theirs isn't the only path of religion that's out there, for one thing. And for another thing, you know, the situation will reverse, and they're the ones cleaning the lobby. The last thing they want to deal with is someone, you know, talking about someone else's religious beliefs. I just guarantee you that's how it goes, because there's the hypocrisy of religion in some aspects. But yeah, and think about this for a second. Okay, they have cops they hire for this specific job, specific between Cheyenne and the Colorado border, and make that judgment call on who's coming into Wyoming with marijuana. Ooh. And the thing of it is, when Wyoming wastes $9.15 million in taxpayers' money, that's pretty fucking ridiculous. Compared to if everyone were to legalize weed, we could potentially make, in this country, we could potentially make $630 million. Okay, that's a lot of fucking money in comparison. You know? And then you couple it with all these awesome things that marijuana does for you. 34 separate studies shows that it kills about 95% of cancers found in humans. Very common cancers, like, but not limited to, lung, throat, mouth, and liver cancer. Okay? So all the cancers associated with smoking tobacco and drinking too much can be cured with marijuana. And I happen to be a fan of all three. You know, you get me fucked up on alcohol, a couple of joints, I'll be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But that's beside the point, isn't it? And the thing of it is, okay, if any of these DEA members had a mother or father or a loved one with cancer, and their option was die or 90 days of cannabis oil, or smoking 90 days of marijuana treatment, and they'd survive, which do you think they would choose? You know what I'm saying? I have a friend of mine whose grandmother had diabetes, among other things, severely overweight, and had cancer. So the doctors, you know what they did? They prescribed her with some medical marijuana, said this is what you can eat, you have to exercise on a daily basis, and after you smoke, these are your munchie foods you can have. And that was it. And as a result, she lost a shit ton of weight, lost her diabetes, and is cancer-free. Go figure. When you actually do your fucking research, you find out that our bodies have these things called cannabinoid receptors. These are things on our nerve endings in our body that are designed to receive THC. So, there's that too. People just think Albert Einstein is the most brilliant mind of his time, yes? Well, guess what? Albert Einstein had Asperger's, and he also smoked pot out of his pipe. Read about it. But, oh, marijuana is so evil, right? Yeah, because last time I checked, Cheech and Chong weren't planning to take over the world, you know. So I find this drug war to be a losing one and a waste of money at that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's ridiculous. But hey, if Wyoming, you like wasting $9.15 million of your taxpayers' money, your hard-earned taxpayers' money, on busting people like me who smoke weed. Yeah, that's a real good idea, isn't it? And here's the thing. The money, you know, if it came directly out of the DEA's pocket, I'd be like, well, that sucks for the DEA because they're wasting no goddamn money. But the thing of it is, it comes out of Wyoming's back pocket when you do something like that. So, to me, it just ain't worth it, you know. As more states legalize, the surrounding states that are not legal are going to see an increased amount of drug crime, if they want to call it that, simply because states around them are becoming legal and access to marijuana is becoming increasingly easy. And to me, you know, you could better spend your resources with your cops busting rapists, murderers, and meth heads, but no, we're going to waste it all on busting potheads because we got nothing better to do with our lives. I tell you what, though, if I'm driving through from Colorado to Wyoming and a cop pulls me over, I'm going to make sure that my car is so clam-baked that the minute I roll it on the window, the cop's just going to get blasted with some dank-ass Colorado weed smoke. And he's going to go, fuck, where was I here again? Do you know why I pulled you over? Why did you pull me over, officer? I forget. Hand him a bag of Doritos and say, have a nice day, and then drive off. He looks at the bag and goes, oh, shh. Like, you know, if you get some weed that's so goddamn good, the second-hand smoke of that shit gets people around you high, then you know you got good shit. You know. There's been a couple of times you get people who are at a party and who are around it but don't smoke it, and if the clam bake gets thick enough, they get stoned too. Okay? And we've tried prohibition of marijuana for the longest time, and guess what? It hasn't worked. It's the same thing with alcohol. It's kind of a no-duh moment, you know. They made alcohol illegal at one point, but then they realized that it was costing the DEA too much money to bust people for drinking a beer, so they're like, okay, that does it, we're making it legal again. Same thing with marijuana. It was legal at one point, but then somewhere down the road, people got greedy and decided to make it illegal, okay? And as a result, we have today, okay? But these are the facts, people. The more states that legalize around you, the easier it's going to be to get, okay? And that's just fact. Now, this is sort of like, let's say ice cream was illegal on a federal level, but state level you could do it, okay? So you go up to your ice cream truck or your dispensary, if you will. You grab yourself an ice cream cone or a cone filled with good weed. You know, they make those pre-rolled cones, and you're smoking it or licking the ice cream, whatever, right? DEA agencies enjoying your ice cream says, fuck you, comes by and knocks the cone out of your hand, it lands on the sidewalk and melts. And then they cuff your ass and throw you in jail. You're like, but I paid $1.50 for that ice cream cone from the ice cream truck. What the hell's wrong with you? Well, I don't care if ice cream is legal on state level. It's still illegal on a federal level. And that's basically what you're looking at right now. Now, we're not comparing ice cream to marijuana here. It's just, you start to think about it like that, and you think, it's just ice cream. Lots of people enjoy it, you know. And it's the same thing with marijuana. It's just a plant, man. Lots of people enjoy it. Myself included. And I don't give a shit if it's legal in Wyoming or not. I'm still going to fucking smoke it. You know what I'm saying? I have Asperger's. You know what I'm saying? So does Albert Einstein. Or did, because he's not here with us anymore. But yeah. I'm willing to bet you that if Wyoming legalized weed, we'd probably make the same amount of money as Colorado makes on weed, if not more. I guarantee we'd make $1.15 million in tax revenue selling it, for sure. You know. But it's only a matter of time. You know, these representatives are going to get so many emails before they're going to be like, okay, we're tired of getting pestered here. It's legal. Have at it, you know. So if you do want to see marijuana legalized in your state, keep harassing your officials about it. And by harassing, I mean emailing them, calling them every other day, and making your voice be heard, you know. Quote from Twisted Sister, we have the right to use it. If we choose it, we're not going to take it, you know. But we're not going to, you know what I'm saying? Straight up. Look at how much money these cigarettes make our company. You quadruple that, okay? Marijuana makes more money than cigarettes, I can guarantee you that. So, yeah. And surprisingly enough, there's a lot of cops in Wyoming that agree with me on this issue. I've done my research, and they agree with me that this is a waste of resources. It could be better spent elsewhere, you know what I'm saying? Now, it'd be one thing if my pot smoking affected my job and my ability to pay rent and keep the apartment clean, but it does none of that, so therefore it's not an issue. You know what I'm saying? You should have heard how happy the inspector was when she saw my apartment, when she inspected it. Like, oh, it's so clean, you know, and that's a good thing. So, buddy of mine, Richard Schofter, maybe you know him, North Dakota. He spent, he told me he got busted with weed. He spent 6 months in prison. That's just one stoner, okay? Let me ask you something. You know, how much money does it cost to persecute just that one person that smoked it? A lot of money, I reckon. So, you know, something to think about. And either way you look at it, people are eventually going to go, well, I'm sick and tired of waiting for this state to legalize it, move to Colorado, which means you're going to lose people, which means less business in your economy because less people are staying in your state. You see what I'm saying? You know, it's going to be, well, if you won't legalize it here, then eventually people are going to get sick and tired of it and move to Colorado. Me? I'm staying right here. You know, I was born in this city, okay? I was born in the goddamn hospital down the street, the one that they're doing work on right now. And I was born without my lungs fully developed. And before going to Job Corps, I was partaking in marijuana. And when I went to Job Corps and they did a test of my blood oxygen level, the oxygen in my blood was 95%. Go figure. But when you talk about $630 million, ask yourself, what would you do with that kind of money if you had that money in your hands? You know what I'm saying? Because that's a lot of money. You know, that is a lot of fucking money. That's a lot of money. If you actually look at history, you know, with alcohol prohibition, you're seeing the exact same thing with marijuana prohibition. Back in the day when alcohol is illegal, okay? Where did you get it? You went to a guy you knew to get your hooch, okay? And it's the same thing with marijuana. Well, where do you get your weed? It's all about a guy or a person you know who knows a person, you know what I'm saying? And at this point, Wyoming, sincerely, okay, that marijuana money could be going into your back pocket, but instead it's going back into Colorado's back pocket. And in that aspect, that means Wyoming is losing money, and a lot of it. So, honest question here. After all this information has been presented to you, do you still think the drug war is worth it? If you say yes, you are, in fact, the world's biggest retard I've ever met. Okay? If you say no, then you get what I'm saying. In fact, let's do a little Google magic, shall we? How much does the U.S. waste on pot busts? Okay. Holy shit! The war on pot, America's $42 billion annual boondoggle. Oh, damn. How's that for ironic, America? You waste $42 billion a year to bust people in America for smoking weed. The new FBI states show an all-time record, which means basically 829,627 marijuana arrests alone in 2006. 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. Okay, that was 8 years ago. 8 years ago. Oh, damn. $42 billion. Oh, that's just painful. That is just, that is just, that makes me cringe. Let's see. Marijuana's Policy Project. We change laws. The very same website I used to write to our state officials. Okay. What else could we spend $42 billion on each year on? $42 billion, America. That's a lot of money wasted on busting people like me. Compare that to $9.15 million. Again, chump change. $42 billion, okay? Let's say you got a cop station, and its cop cars are from like 1980, and it's due for an upgrade. And they can't afford it because, guess what? $42 billion of taxpayers' money is going to bust potheads. Oh, that is just... Okay, $42 billion, man. That's disgusting. Okay, that is just outright disgusting. And you're throwing people in jail for smoking weed, for a number of patients, including cancer patients, patients with autism, patients with ADHD, your troops coming back from seas with post-traumatic stress disorder, okay, your schizophrenics. Okay, $42 billion, are you kidding me? Ugh, that's disgusting. I could definitely afford to build my dream house for that much money. Holy shit. That is just... that is disgusting. That is just... that makes me cringe. $42 billion. Holy shit. If you don't believe me, then I will copy and paste this link in the description box below, and you can use this very same website to fill out your name, address, phone number, what state you reside in, and you can email your senators and governors from this website basically, and make your voice heard. Second Amendment, freedom of speech, you know what I'm saying? Straight up. And here's the ironic thing, okay? George Washington grew hemp on his plantation, the very same hemp that was used to make the paper to draft the Declaration of Independence and the goddamn Constitution. You know what I'm saying? Ugh, $42 billion, that was the most... $42 billion, man. Oh. So how does it feel, America, knowing that your country wastes your taxpayers' money, $42 billion a year? Now, on top of that, let's throw in banks giving out loans to people who can't afford to pay them off in 4 years. They buy a car, they buy a house, they buy a boat with a loan from the bank. They don't pay it off, the bank repossesses it. Guess what? The bank can't sell it, the bank loses money too. Ooh! And then you want to throw in the fact that banks just love to hand out credit cards, right? So you rack up all this credit card debt, and here's the thing, it's maybe convenient to swipe it in the moment, but guess what? At the end of the month, your credit card bill is due, and everything you bought with that credit card has to be paid back. Otherwise, you end up in a shit ton of debt, and it adds up real quickly, okay? So you throw in those two aspects, plus the $42 billion a year that this country wastes on busting potheads, and you wonder why our economy is a little fucked right now. Not to mention that we have this war that's been going on since God knows how long. The combination of those four things, okay, the the drug war, the credit cards, the handing out loans, and the war. Okay, those 4 things alone are what's screwing our economy in the hole right now, literally. Again, I will acknowledge that our economic debt is nowhere nearly as bad as the Great Depression. Okay, if you talk to someone who lived through that, it will blow your fucking mind. Okay, money back then was not worth shit. Okay, on top of that, they had dust storms. People were coughing out dust logs the size and the length of pencils. Okay, and crops were dead. I mean, it's just a horrible and hard time to live in. Okay, so yes, this economic debt sucks, but again, nowhere nearly as bad as the Great Depression. Okay, and how much money does Obamacare really cost our country? Okay, that's something to think about. You know, he talks about change and all that, and I just don't see how the government can be comfortable with wasting $42 billion. Okay, now to the government who may or may not be watching this, what would you do with $42 billion in your pocket? You know what you could do? You could afford to have a water fountain that disperses champagne in your house if you wanted to. You push a button and it squirts out champagne. You have a little machine that hooks up a bottle underneath. You could if you want to. All you have to do is go. It's like those drinking fountains you see in the libraries, but instead it dispenses champagne. That's luxury, isn't it? You could take a pool and fill it up with $42 billion and just swim in it. You literally could. 42 billion ones, just dump into a pool, just start doing the backstroke with it. You know what I'm saying? Wow. It's insane, you know. Reflect on that for a second, YouTube. I have to take a piss. I'll be right back. $42 billion. Holy shit. Oh, holy shit. $42 billion, man. That is just disgusting. $42 billion every year. That adds up real quick, doesn't it? It certainly does. Okay. So again, you know, at this point, your $42 billion, that's a lot of money wasted on a very much failed effort here. You know, it's disgusting. It really is. In my brief email to the 3 representatives of the state, I also included the Wyoming Normal Facebook page as a link, so they can check it out for themselves if they wish to. But as a concerned American citizen, you know, when your country is wasting that much money on a plant, okay, where's that book of mine? There it is. $42 billion to bust people for this. The stuff pictured in this book right here. I'm sorry, but this pisses me off. Okay? People bitch about our economy sucking, and then you turn around and find out that this drug war is costing this country $42 billion annual every year. And you go, Well, in this book, I'm actually on chapter 5. This is as far as I've gotten. It's a great read. I'm liking, you know, a lot of it's just common sense and rereading. Oh, look at that. And then you see a picture right here of wild pot plants growing out in the middle of nowhere. Out in the field somewhere. Now, let's see here. We go to the rest of, let's see, we got smoking equipment, growing equipment, all kinds of stuff. And here's the ironic thing. People go, where'd you get that book at? Eastridge Mall at Spencer's, that's where I got it. And supposedly Wyoming's illegal, right? Okay, if Wyoming is an illegal state, then why would they offer books like this for sale at Spencer's as a novelty, right? Something to think about, you know. This book even shows you how to make special butter, which really is not that hard to make. What you want to do is take your marijuana, grind it up into really fine quality, and you stick it in a pan with a shit ton of butter, and you slowly mix it to and melt it. You want to melt the butter and slowly cook it with the marijuana for a good 6 hours solid until the butter is a nice solid green color. Then you take your marijuana butter and you strain out the now THC-less leaves, the leaves that no longer have THC. Do what you want with them. I don't really care. But then you pour your butter into a container, let it sit in the fridge, let it cool down and harden. And if your butter turns solid and green, you know, then you got yourself some can of butter. It's that simple. And which means if you wanted to put a little butter on your pancakes, which are in the shape of circles, ironically enough, you could do that. And all of a sudden, you're having pancakes with special butter and syrup. Okay? I'm going to ask you something, Wyoming. How many of you go to watch the rodeo every year? It's a pretty traditional Wyoming thing, is it not? A bunch of cowboys getting on them bulls and riding for the crowd's entertainment. And we all know if you watch the rodeo and you're a fan of it, you know that it can become a very dangerous sport. That bull bucks you off, kicks you in the ribs, sends you flying into the stands. You end up breaking a couple ribs, a wrist, a leg, and an arm just from bull riding. You go to the hospital, they give you some casts and all that, and they give you this disgustingly awful prescription painkiller medication that doesn't do shit for you. And you decide you want to smoke a little bit of that weed to help your pain instead. You know, so you can get back on that bull and keep riding. You know what I'm saying? Looking at it like that, and you go, oh, that makes sense, doesn't it? Indeed. And honestly, I disagree with the NFL punishing players for pot use. Because again, football is a very dangerous sport, okay? Humans put their bodies through a lot of shit when they go and play football, okay? So, it's a very dangerous and very physical sport. So, if it were up to me, I'd be in favor of NFL players using marijuana to relieve their pain, you know what I'm saying? Because again, they're entertaining the masses with this otherwise very dangerous sport. And their body gets hurt as a result of that sport, and you're going to tell me they can't smoke a little bit of ganj because it's illegal? Yeah. Not to mention, when our troops come back from post-traumatic stress disorder can't smoke it because it's illegal, they get caught smoking it, and they get thrown in jail because they get caught smoking it. So basically, they fought for your country just so you can throw them in jail. Nice. Real fucking nice. Real fucking nice. That's a great way to treat our troops, I'll tell you what. It's disgusting is what it is. Absolutely. And then you throw into the facts, okay? I'm going to say it again. $40 million. How can you live with yourself? 42, I should say, not 40 billion, excuse me. $42 billion, okay? $42 billion of your taxpayers' money goes to bust people for smoking pot. How the hell can you live with yourself? I couldn't, you know. I couldn't. That's for damn sure I couldn't. I'd be pissed as hell, you know. Especially when some of the people smoking it, you know, have a legitimate reason for smoking other than it's a recreational, fun way to pass time. You know what I'm saying? God, it's disgusting. $42 billion. Holy shit. Casper, you want that library so goddamn bad? $42 billion would definitely cover it. Ridiculous. $42 billion, man. Okay. In fact, Simsalis is the Growing Marijuana, How to Plant, Cultivate, and Harvest Your Own Weed. It's an awesome book to have. But there's a fact in here when you open the first couple of pages that I want to read for you if I can find it. Let's see. For today's enlightened citizen, the real question is why this plant, which has been smoked and eaten for recreational purposes for at least 9,000 years, which has never harmed anyone physically or mentally, and which is virtually impossible to overdose on. Oh, it is, believe me. I've tried, to smoke a shit ton and get really fucking high. What ends up happening is I smoke myself sober. I get to a point where I smoke so much weed where I come a complete circle and I no longer feel weed high even though I've smoked it. It's true. Okay, should have been added to the FDA's, should not have been added to the FDA's legislative substances known as 8.7 in the first place. The marijuana. Okay, so this crop has been around for at least 9,000 years. It's over 9,000! No, but seriously. And here's something else too I found incredibly ironic. While we're reading this book, it says, it is not illegal to buy or purchase marijuana seeds. However, it is illegal to grow them. Because that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? The whole issue just flat pisses me off. And then you throw in $42 billion worth of U.S. citizens' money wasted every year to bust people for it, and people are still smoking it, So, yeah. It's disgusting. So, yeah. $42 billion in taxpayers' money every year. Okay? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Until then, this is KingCobraJFS with another video. Thanks for watching. Spread the word and legalize weed.